Good morning, everyone. I would like to call this regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order on January 18th. It's 9:35, and please rise and we will say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First on the agenda is for Selectmen's report. We did just have the department head quarterly meeting, so I will try not to repeat too many things. If you experience damage from Storm Ida, the online loan application for the Small Business Association is due Friday, January 28th. It's right around the corner. The ARPA committee will meet today at 1 o'clock, and the final rule was just presented, so they will have a little bit more information to work with. On January 27th, as Mark McEwen said, the Dewberry consultants will be in Darien to help residents fill out applications for FEMA assistance, and Scott Choquette has had a lot of experience with the FEMA process. This will be an informational session, and also residents will bring in, we're asking residents to bring in their paperwork for the experts to help them process. Regionally, there's been a diminished demand for booster clinics, so the health department will be moving to appointments, and those appointments will be instead of clinics, and the final clinic is scheduled for students to receive their second shot coming up this, I believe it's this Saturday. The building committee for the renovation at the 3 elementary schools is moving along. We've had a number of residents interested, and we are asking for anyone else that's interested to please contact the Selectmen's office by Monday, next Monday, the 24th, and we are hoping to start interviewing that week. So if you are interested, please contact the office. There's a short application that you will fill out, and we would like a little background information on you also. January 24th is the RTM meeting, and I'm very happy to say that Francis Pickering, who is the executive director for WestCog, will be at that meeting, and he will be helping residents and the RTM decide the most efficient way to participate in our legislative process. On a side note, the Corbin project, as everyone can see, it's moving right along. At this point, the street Corbin Drive is expected to be closed tomorrow, Wednesday, as they will be bringing in cement, and so that road will be closed for the day. And that is all I have on the board, the First Selectmen's report. The town administrator's report will have to wait because Kate is not here today. Board liaison reports. Do you have anything, Mike?
We had a meeting of the Blight Review Commission last Wednesday. I think rather than report on those proceedings at each of these meetings, I'll wait till we do 2 or 3, so there'll be a real change or something to report on. As you're probably aware, this process, while it's moving, it's slow moving, so the statistics really haven't changed since my last report, so I think it'll be more formal next time.
Perfect. Marcy, you have
Sure.
anything?
Ox Ridge Building Committee is up and running. If anybody has had the opportunity to drive by the school, it is beautiful and it is in full activity. We had a tour on the 27th of December. Unfortunately, I was not able to make it. I was out of town, but it gave the opportunity for everybody to walk through and see the progress. They have not had too many issues with supply chain, which certainly was a concern as they're bringing in building material. Things have been relatively on target, but they are certainly leaving some room for that as they're doing the planning for opening. The goal is to have the school open not for students, but to have it completed, the academic building completed in May, and that still continues to be on target as well as the budget. So things are going well there.
I was at the walkthrough on the 27th, and it is, the progress has been.
It's
yeah,
amazing
it's
how
really-
fast it went up,
yeah.
and the
It's a-
contractors have done a great job.
A very good building committee.
Yeah.
Okay, and so new business, today we have discussed and take action on a request for funding of $21,500 for a watershed study. Ed, would you explain this?
Are those mics on, maybe?
I don't know. Jim? You know what, Ed? Why don't you come and use my microphone?
These are on too, if you want to go on the end.
Okay.
I'll let you know if they can hear me. I hope they can.
Yeah, I think I can hear it.
Okay.
You want to share?
No, I can stand, if that's okay. What you have in front of you is an appropriation request for funding for a study in the downtown area here in Darien. It's a unique opportunity. I like to say that between a public and private partnership, we were approached by some of the property owners down there to do and work on this study. We had some major flooding the last couple storms, large storms down there. So what you'll have in front of you is half of what the study would cost in total. The estimated cost is about $43,000. This is our portion of it. The other, I don't think I gave a copy of the report, but the other property owners are BG Bowl LLC, Grove Street Plaza LLC, and West Avenue Parking LLC. All three of us, town included, will be signing this document once the funding is approved to make sure that we're all on board with the company that we're using. The company that we are using is well-versed in the area down there. They had done portions of the study for the Corbin project down there. The area that we're going to study is the Goodwise River at Andrews as it comes up Corbin area through the site, under the post road, up Brook Street, Grove Street, in the plaza between Grove Street under the fountain, and it heads over to Squab Lane. From there, it actually goes under the railroad tracks, across the parking lot on West Avenue, the Coons lot that's there, till Tilly Pond. So that's the drainage area that we're going to be doing the study on. Like I said, the consultant is well versed in that area, had to do some preliminary studies and make a presentation to planning and zoning as part of the Corbin project. So this seemed to be a good opportunity to have some savings, plus a knowledgeable consultant doing the work that's there right now. We are also planning to do some reconnaissance on the existing drainage that's out there. We'll do some video work. We'll meet with the DOT. I think one of the sticking points or bottlenecks, if you will, was the crossing under the post road. So we're gonna, once we get this started, we're gonna meet with out there immediately with them to start talking about if there's improvements needed, how do we go about doing that? Because I think last opportunity, and it was years ago, the state didn't move as quickly as we'd like them to. So it just means we need to get them on board sooner and buying into what we're finding out there and what the improvements may be. And some of those improvements may be enlarging pipes, doing a secondary route to get to the drainage system that goes down Corbin, which is significantly increased in size as part of the project, to alleviate the flooding on Grove Street, Squab, and an opportunity to do some improvements in the flooding that happens in the Coons lot also. So all of this goes together. So if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them. I'm more than happy to do that.
Just quickly, has there been any previous studies of this area?
There was a study back in 2007 that was done by Malcolm Perney, I believe. We're going to piggyback on that study, making sure that the drainage area or the watershed area, if you will, hasn't changed in size. It may have changed in value of impervious surfaces, larger developments that may have happened upstream that feed Tilly. So those things are going to be looked at also.
Just follow up off of that. So will the final report of the study do kind of compare and contrast and footnote or something that the prior study was reviewed, and maybe a discussion of the change in the two studies?
We'll actually have to compare the two to see if there were changes, right down to where it's supposed to flood and where they predicted it would flood and where it actually flooded. I think those are the things you need to do. We'll be doing different size storms. We'll do a 1, 2, and a 5. I understand from the previous report, it wasn't supposed to handle a 5-year storm. That's when it starts to flood. That'll be interesting to see if that holds true from the old report. We'll also do the larger ones, 25, 50, and 100. I want to know if there's any areas out there that should be considered flood prone and addressed through FEMA, if that's even an avenue we want to undertake.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Marcy, any questions?
No.
So you're all, so DOT, you'll meet with DOT as soon as this process?
Yeah. This process now is Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, RTM. And once I get the approval from the RTM, after 10 days, I can...
No, it's not subject to 10 days because it's less than $50,000.
Thank you, Jennifer. I'll start immediately after that. We'll get it signed off, we'll get the contractor on board, and we'll initiate the meeting.
Okay, okay. Any other questions? Okay, if there are no other questions, may I have a motion to approve this request for funding for $21,500 for a watershed study? Marcy moves. Mike seconds. All in favor? All right. No opposed, so no abstentions, so motion passes. Thanks, Ed.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Have a great day.
Thanks, Ed. Okay. Next item on the agenda is to discuss and take action on a request to transfer $10,000 to employee benefits professional services. Jen Cherneski will speak to this.
We conducted an RFP for consulting services for our 457 and defined contribution plans. Mainly what we were looking for is a consultant to help us fulfill our fiduciary responsibilities. Reviewing investments, making sure that we're getting the right mix of investments, have the right options for employees, that the fees are as low and, as they can be and that they're reasonable. And then also providing some guidance to myself, the HR director, the town administrator, on what governance items are needed to ensure that we're fulfilling those responsibilities on these plans. We did not include this in the budget, but the result of the RFP, the firm that we would like to engage is $10,000. So we're seeking a transfer from contingency to engage their services.
Any questions?
And for what period will this individual be a consultant for $10,000? Is it a time or amount of hours, or how does it?
It's for the initial review and services. After that, it would be $25,000 per year. That's what we plan to put into the fiscal 23 budget to continue those on an ongoing basis. But the initial review will take a few months. It won't be a full year's engagement. And one thing that they have included, so currently we have 2 record keepers for our 457 plan, one of whom is also for our defined contribution. Included in that $10,000, we could choose to do an RFP for record keeping services and see what we can come up with.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
This is the first time that you guys are considering doing this?
Yes,
So that's why it wasn't budgeted?
correct.
Okay, that was my question. Okay. If there are no other questions, may I have a motion to approve the transfer of $10,000 from, to Employee Benefits Professional Services?
So move.
Mike moves. May I have a second? Marcy seconds. All in favor? Okay, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is to review and approve the minutes of January 3rd, 2022, regular meeting. Are there any additions, deletions, etc.? Okay. I would like to make one adjustment to the minutes, and that is that I would like it to be noted that the executive session covered the lawsuits, and Sarah Newman was not able to participate in the executive session, thus her abstentions are a factor from that. And if there are no other corrections, may I have a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
So moved.
Mike moves, Marcy seconds. All in favor? Motion passes. Okay. Agenda review, are there any topics the board would like to see on future agendas at this time? Seeing none? Public comment?
Should we carry over John's from last one because we didn't have the opportunity to do that? Update on flood mitigation plans?
Yes.
Okay. I'll make that.
Okay.
suggestion.
And are there any public comments? Seeing no public, may I have a motion to adjourn? Marcy moves, Mike seconds. Motion carries. Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.